Hello, my YouTubers. This is me again for part 2 or 3 for the December 26th, 2022 update Christmas video. And I showed you like a lot of VHS tapes I just had for Christmas. Now here's some DVDs I got for Christmas, like some from the thrift store and some for my family member. Let's start with the DVD box set of one of the unique cartoon show that was ever put on Fox 5 back in the late 80s, early 90s. The one and only Beetlejuice, a complete series of the original cartoon show. This is released from Shout Factory Entertainment in 2013. When I first noticed the Beetlejuice cartoons were on DVD, I spotted it when I was in Walmart in Hamburg, which was about 4 weeks ago, and Beetlejuice cartoons lasted from 1989 to 1991, based on a Tim Burton movie in 1988. And did you know they only had 94 episodes of the Beetlejuice cartoons? It was released. That was made for the cartoon show was at Warner Bros. Television in Gaffin. All released. Yep. And here's some DVDs I have for you. I checked them out yesterday, and they're pretty unique. Let's start with disc 1 of season 1, 2, and 3 set. Yep. It only has like a lot of episodes on there. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. And I'll show you what this DVD looks like. This is based on the motion picture, just like Ghostbusters made into a real Ghostbusters cartoon. Yeah, and I do like Beetlejuice. And here's the second disc, like season 4, part 1, with more of these outstanding episodes. In the early 1990s, Warner Home Video released some of the Beetlejuice cartoon episodes on VHS tapes. Here's what it looks like. Yep. That's why I had to get this on DVD as a Christmas present from my brother Brian, when he got it from Amazon for me. God, I love Beetlejuice. And here's the third one. It's called Season 4, Part 2. With a lot of more episodes on there. I wish I had more Smurf episodes on DVDs. Like the original episodes by Hanna-Barbera. Like the ones with Johann and PB I can take. We got more other DVDs. Let's start with some Disney titles, like Disney's Fantasia, the 60th anniversary edition. This came out in 2000. This movie was in a digital surrounded sound. This is at the time when Fantasia 2000 was just actually released. Not that great compared to the original Fantasia. When I first saw this on DVD was in 2001 when I rented it out in Blockbuster Video Whitestone. I had to get this as a Christmas present. Another Disney DVD we have here is Timeless Tales Volume 2, which comes with one of the silly symphony stories like The Ugly Duckling, The Wind of the Widows taken from the Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad, The Country Mouse, that's a silly symphony. Any more cartoons on there? Furtherman the Bull, told by Don Wilson. I have Furtherman the Bull on a Willie Operatic Whale Mini Classics VHS. This has got to be from 2003 or something. Yep. How am I going to open this? Here's what this DVD looks like. Lately I've been into like Disney interests. Next one we got here is a Walt Disney release of Swiss Family Robinson. This originally came out in 2002 with 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and Pollyanna, and has all the bonus materials about the filming locations, trailers, and everything. I even have Pollyanna in that exact release. Here's the 2-disc set of Swiss Family Robinson that has with James MacArthur, Tommy Kirt, Kevin Coffin, Dorothy McGuire, and John Miles, British actor, and Janet Monroe from Darby O'Gill and the Little People. And here's the DVD I finally got, the restored Roadshow edition of the Happiest Millionaire, the longer version. Stars with Fred MacMurray as Anthony Biddle, Mr. Biddle, the Philadelphia millionaire. It's based on a true story, and it was adapted from the Broadway show that Walter Pidgeon did in 1956. Co-stars with Greer Garson, Tommy Steele, Leslie Ann Wharton and John Daberson, Geraldine Page, and Gladys Cooper, featuring some memorable songs I remember. It's All Let's Be Irish, For Velocity, Detroit, Let's Have a Drinking It Now, What's Wrong with That, and many more good songs written by the Sherman Brothers, the one that wrote the songs for Mary Poppins. Walt Disney's Happiest Millionaire is Bouncing Joy was a hit in the happy tradition of Mary Poppins by Hollywood Reporter. This DVD came out back in 2004. Yeah. Here's what this DVD looks like. Yeah. I always loved The Happiest Millionaire when I was a kid. And here's something also I got as a Christmas present. 2 monster movies, a franchise collection. Comes with the 2 monster movies made for TV. Monsters Go Home, and it had with Humani Gingle. And Monsters Revenge with Sid Caesar from 1977. And this DVD release of the monster movies came out 2006 from Universal Studios Home Entertainment. I used to have Monsters Revenge on VHS when I lived in New York. We had to give that away. And I do like Sid Caesar from It's a Man World and Your Shows of Shows in the 1950s. Here's the Planet Edition of Disney's Aladdin. 2-disc special edition. The Planet Edition, it means that was when Snow White came out in 2001. Has all the bonus materials, from this Disney animated movie, featuring the voices of Robin Williams that we lost Gilford Godfrey this year. Yep, good old Gilford Godfrey. And this DVD came out around 2004 or 2005. And I know I rented out this edition when I was at Palmer West Coast Video Cross Island Parkway. This is only like the limited edition. And when it first came out on VHS was around 1993 in the Walt Disney The Classics series. The Whole New World. This is pretty good. I always love Disney's Aladdin. The Whole New World. But I like the Lion King better. The Hakuna Matata. The next one we got here is New Line Home Video, like 4 favorite Nightmare on Elm Street 5 to 8 movies. Let's start with Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child, 1989. Then we got the 6th one, Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. That was in 91. Wes Craven's New Nightmare. And Jason vs. Freddy. That was out in 2003. And this DVD release came out in 2008. Yeah, and I even have the 1 through 4 Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Here's what it looks like between standard and the widescreen. God, I do love this. I showed you on the other one of my previous update videos. Next one we got here, something I got it when I was in FYE in that Berkshire Mall about weeks ago. An unopened DVD of Disney's Freaky Friday, the original, from 1977. It stars with Barbara Harris, the young Jodie Foster from the Addams Family TV show John Ashton. This DVD came out around 2000 and got to be around 2006. That comes with Looking Back with Jodie Foster, the Freaky Fridays exclusive memory game, yeah. Until there was a remake later with Jamie Lee Curtis. It's not that great compared as the original Freaky Friday. Another Disney movie I have here with Peter Ustinov and Dean Jones in Blackbeard's Ghost in 1968. At that time, Walt Disney was not alive. After Disney produced Happiest, Millionaire when he was his last film he made during of his supervision. This co-stars with Susanna Prezette, Eliza Lancaster, and Joel B. Baker and Elliot Reed. This is a pretty good Disney ghostly comedy, Blackbeard's Ghost, from 1968. I think I showed you the Blackbeard Ghost in my other previous update video of the Neon Mickey VHS. Next one, we got in another unopened DVD of Billy Wilder's classic Sunset Boulevard. William Holden, Gloria Swanson, Eric von Stroheim, and Nancy Olson. And this DVD came out 2002, has some memorable bonus materials about the movie. Okay, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up. When I first saw Sunset Boulevard, it was taken in the telecast TV movie of Trading Places. When that scene was cut out from the theatrical release, they had that in the TV movie version of Sunset Boulevard. And when they showed that in Trading Places. The next one, we got Season 1 of Alf. Alf, yep, 4-disc set. And this DVD set came out in 2004 from Lionsgate. It's got to be from Artists and Ants. And it has some episodes in Season 1. And I do like Alf. Some kind of like a space character in the series. When he used to air it run on NBC4 in the 80s. Here's Steve Martin's first movie, The Jerk. 26th Anniversary Edition. That was released in 2005, the same year I rented this out on VHS when I was in Whitestone. This directed by Carl Reiner, co-stars with Bernadette Peters. Seems like a good movie, The Jerk. I like another movies that Steve Martin made with Carl Reiner, like The Man with Two Brains, All of Me, and Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid. I'm trying to get that on DVD. When Steve Martin plays a private detective. I showed you that in my previous update video. The next one we got here is one of the Marx Brothers classics like The Day at the Races, 1937. Co-stars with Alan Jones, Margaret Dumont, and Sig Rigman. This DVD of Night at the Races was 2004. However, this is the 2010. This is the 2009 reprint of this. Yep, originally came out in the snap case. I don't have Night at the Opera, but someday I'll get more of the Marx Brothers movies on DVD. Here's a Disney comedy called the Disney thriller of Moonspinners. It's part of the film classics of the Harry Mills collection. It looked like a VHS packaging. Harry Mills stars with E.I. Wallach, the one from The Good and the Bad and the Ugly. This DVD release got to be around 2003 or 4, something like that. Here's what this DVD looks like. I wish I had The Parent Trap on DVD. It's one of the early Harry Mills films after she did Pollyanna. Here's the one and the only Cantrell's Family Band with Walter Brennan, Kurt Russell, Leslie Ann Wharton, Buddy Epson, and Dorothy McGuire. And Wally Cox was in it. In the dancing scene, you might even recognize the young Goldie Hawn when she had a bit part in this movie before she became a leading actress. And this has got to be a 2004 DVD release. It was out around the time with The Happiest Millionaire or Freaky Friday. The Shulman brothers wrote the songs for the family band. Here's Disney's Pixar Shorts Collection Volume 2. And this DVD release got to be around 2012. When they show some shorts adapted from the movies like the Toy Story films and Ratatouille. Yeah, they got some good shorts on there. And I do like Up. I saw it in 2009. And here's the DVD game called Seen It Game DVD game. And this is made from TCM and by Warner Brothers and the Screen Life company. That was released in 2005. When it has the DVD, it has everything about the game. It has the DVD when you play it on your DVD player. It has some cards with the questions and answers on there. But I'm not going to show you that. But I'm showing little parts of it. Don't want to miss having that to your collection. And here's the last one I have on the DVDs. Maxwell DVD-R as an unopened. It's got to be from, it's got to be around 2008 or whatever. That's when I first got into like getting DVD blanks. Yeah. Next one we got here, we're going to move on from the DVDs to Laserdisc. That's an other format thing. Let's start with one of the great funny movies of '88. I don't mean Naked Gun, but we got Beetlejuice, directed by Tim Burton. It's a approximate ghost comedy that haven't been anything like it since Ghostbusters by Kevin Thomas by Los Angeles Times, made for Gaffin and Warner Brothers in 1988. The stars with Michael Keaton, Alec Baldwin, Gina Davis, Jeffrey Jones, Kathleen O'Hara, Roma Weiner, and Sylvia Sidney as a social worker. This is the Laserdisc release. It's a pretty good movie. Tim Burton directed, the one who made Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Here's side 1 and side 2. Nice effing model. Great movie. The next one we got here, that is Jewels on the Nile. Jewels on the Nile is a sequel to Romancing the Stone that stars of Michael Douglas, Kathleen Turner, and Danny DeVito. And I do like Danny DeVito. This is a early '86 Laserdisc released by CBS Fox Video, and I have another copy of it on Laserdisc. However, has some disc problems. I'll show you what it looks like. And here's one of the Holy Grail Laserdiscs I got when I was in the flea market buying Christmas presents for myself. That is Tempering of the Swans with Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton. This is a 1984 Laserdisc by RCA Columbia Pictures Home Video. Someday soon I'll check this out. And originally it came out on VHS and Beta in 1979 and reissued in early '83 and 1986. Here's what this Laserdisc looks like. There's side 2. Tamping of the Swarms. It made together in Who's Afraid of the Virginia Wolf. Did you know that Elizabeth Taylor was married to Richard Burton in real life? Here's Tom Selleck in Lester in 1983. Co-stars with Jane Seymour and Bob Hoskins and Laurie Hutton. And I do like Bob Hoskins from Roger Rabbit and Mona Lisa. And I used to have this on VHS in a Warner Home Video 1984 clamshell. This was released on Laserdisc in 1984. The last Warner Home Video laser I got for my other update video was High Road to China with Tom Selleck and Bess Armstrong. I like these Laserdiscs. Next one we got here as one of the best films of 1935, Charles Laughton and Clark Gable in Mutiny on the Bounty. And this Laserdisc of this movie came out in 1984. Originally it came out on VHS and Beta in 1983. Then I have the 1985 reissue in the Great Books on Video collection. This is a pretty good movie. Mutiny on the Bounty in 1935 became a Best Picture of the Year. Until there was a remake later with Marlon Brando. It's not that great compared to the original. And I do like Charles Laughton's performance, like he did in The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Here's what the disc looks like. Yep. I had to get this. It's like a holy grail. And here's one of the great acclaimed films of 1987, Michael Douglas and Glenn Close in Fatal Attraction in 1987. This was released from Paramount Gulf Western Company on Laserdisc in around mid-88. That was the same time it was out on VHS. This is a pretty good movie, and the memorable horror scene when Michael Douglas's daughter's rabbit has been boiling in the pot by Glenn Close. He was trying to manipulate and blackmail him. Yeah, doesn't want his wife to find out, but he already had to tell her. Yeah, this is a pretty good movie. And in the early 1990s, they released the director's cut of the Fatal Attraction when like Michael Douglas gets arrested, but instead had to make it into a thriller when like the Glenn Close comes into his house in Connecticut, tries to kill his wife in the bathroom scene. But in the director's cut version, Glenn Close takes a knife and tries to slit her throat. It's a pretty good movie that you don't want to miss. Fatal Attraction for your collection. Next one we got here, another Clark Gable film. Stars with lovely Jeanette MacDonald and Spencer Tracy in San Francisco. Sadly, there's no Nelson Eddy in the movie to try to protect her. And this movie also nominated for Academy Award for the earthquake disaster. When buildings were coming down, everybody in the city was running in fright. San Francisco first came out on video in 1985 in the Diamond Jubilee collection of the MGM Classics. Jeanette was singing so strongly in this movie. This is released in 1992. Yeah. Ted Healy's in it, the man behind the Three Stooges. Yeah. Here's what this Laserdisc looks like. And it got the capture stops in like the 85 original Laserdisc of this movie. The 85 original didn't have the capture stops, but you had to fast forward. I know. The next movie we got here, which stars with Gregory Peck, David Niven, and Anthony Quinn in The Guns of Neverlone, Academy Award-winning special effects of 1961. This is the 1984 Laserdisc. Originally, this movie came out on VHS and Beta was 1981, and then it was reissued in late 83, and then reissued again in 1985. And I showed you that in my previous update videos of this movie. Here's what the label looks like on the Laserdisc of Guns of Neverlone. The next one we got here is Lady Hawk. Lady Hawk has stars with Matthew Broderick and Michelle Pfeiffer. And this is the 1985 Laserdisc release. It's out the same time as with VHS. And I used to have that on VHS. And I'll show you what the Laserdisc looks like. It was released in Warner Home Video in late 85. You see, I collect things on Laserdisc. And here's the next one. I've been collecting Laserdiscs since 2005 for fun. The next one we got here is Peggy Sue Gets Married. That's with Kathleen Turner and Nicolas Cage. Directed by Francis Ford Coppola. Now, this is the early 87 release from CBS Fox Video. I used to have this on VHS when I lived in New York. The next one we got here is Sudden Impact with Clint Eastwood as Dirty Harry. And this is released on Laserdisc in 1984. I used to have this on VHS when I lived in New York. And I'll show you what the disc looks like. Here's a Warner Home Video with the 3 dots. Yeah, I collect good movies on Laserdisc. I know this is like a little bit acceptable. Next one we got here, A Man for All Seasons. That stars with Wendy Hiller, Leo McCann, and Robert Shaw, and Orson Welles. This is a Laserdisc released in 1983. Originally it came out on VHS in 1979 or 1980. Now I'll show you what this disc looks like, the label. Here's the RCA Columbia Pictures Home Video TM logo mark on there. That's a trademark. Yeah. Now we have here Victory of the Sea volumes 10 and 12. That was released from Embassy Home Entertainment Laserdisc in 1985. Around that time, it was out on VHS. This is some kind of like a World War II documentary. I used to have the tape set of it on VHS back then when I lived in New York. Here's what the label looks like on the Laserdisc. God, I love collecting Laserdisc. Now we got David and Lisa. And this was released on Laserdisc in 1987 by RCA Columbia Pictures Home Video. It was made in 1962. I showed you that for part of my Columbia VHS tapes. I don't even remember. Yeah. Show you what this disc looks like. Yeah. Spread out. Here's what the label looks like. It's not dark. It looks so light blue. Yeah. 3. Next one we got here, And Then There Were None. That stars with Barris Fitzgerald, Walter Houston, and Rowan Young, the guy in the Topper movies. This is released on Laserdisc. That was from VCI, Video Communication Incorporated, and Image Entertainment. This has got to be released in around from 1979. It was released on Laserdisc in 1989 or something like that. Show you what this disc looks like. Image Entertainment, yeah. I like collecting Laserdisc. Nothing else in this world will do. Here's one of the great films of 1938, Marine Artillery, that stars with Norma Shearer and Tyrone Powers, made in 1938. And Norma Shearer wears like a nice, beautiful dress. I wish I had Jeanette MacDonald and Nelson Eddy singing together in this movie. Co-stars with John Barrymore. Yeah. And Gladys George, yep. This is a pretty good movie, but sadly doesn't have any singing, but they got some dramatic parts. But Norma Shearer wears a nice, beautiful dress. That could be like Jeanette MacDonald wears a nice dress in Naughty Marietta in 1935. The Sweet Mystery of Life, At Last I Saw You. That's the song they sang. Until Madeline Kahn was singing that in Young Frankenstein in 1974. This is an NGMUA home video Laserdisc. It was released in 1991. And I'll show you what this too looks like. Hold on, kiddo. Now, I like Norma Shearer in Idiot's Delight and the women, and like the all-women cast. Disc. Hold on. Having trouble. The next one we got here is